Good day to everyone and welcome to the Performance Racing League's Premier Tier race at Italy. Qualifying just now underway. Looks like Calcis is going to be the first one to cross the line and start a hot lap. Most cars now out on track, except for Lewis still in the pits, but everyone else now out on a hot lap here as we get started. Here, watching Calcis here as he comes through Ascari. Here, and so far looking like our weather report, we are going to have a dry race and dry qualifying session here, so weather shouldn't come into play. So far it looks like most drivers are going to try to start on the softs here, making their first run on soft tires. Fruitful and Joe Animator, the two that are going to make their first laps here on the mediums. So Jesse will be the first car to cross the line, coming in with a 1:19.1 to set the benchmark here. So it's Base coming through. And Base will go on to provisional pole with a 1:18.6. Be the first driver down into the 1:18s. Fruitful with a 1:19.1 on the medium tires into P2. Jesse holding third with a 1:19.1. That's now dropped. Steins App goes into P2 with a 1:19 flat. Jer crossing the line with a 1:18.5 on the softs, goes into provisional pole. Like yellow flag, looks like this car is letting people out of the way. Rez coming around now. Little loose there out of 4 as we head into the Lesmos. So see if he stays in the lap or if he backs off. Looks like he's going to keep going here. Someone on the stream can let me know how audio and video is. Not on my usual setup today, so hopefully everything looks good. But and Rez is going to come across with a 1:19 flat into P4. Yeah, Mike has aborted there. We'll go down with Joe Animator here in 18th, currently on the medium tires, coming around on the outlap. Yes, Rusty, we are looking at a dry qualifying and a dry race. Thank you for the audio check there. So most cars in the pits at the moment. Currently here we're looking at Jer sitting on provisional pole with a 1:18.5. Base with a 118.6. Steinzap with a 119 flat. Rez with a 119. Fruitful with a 119.1. Jesse with a 119.1. Rounds out the top 6. Everybody on the soft tires now at this point. So currently looking the first 9 cars on the first hot laps within 1 second of each other. Top 4 within a half second. So we're have a very close field here for today's race. Riding on board with Fruitful, coming through Ascari here. Getting set up to make their second hot lap here, and this is where we will start seeing the times that are going to be the benchmark times now that everybody has a banker in. You're going to see the hot laps where drivers will take a little more risk. Into 1 and 2, nice and smooth. Good the job there, cars getting out of the way. Little bit wide, not too bad. Stay on board here, ride through Ascari. Really smooth run, great use of the curbs. And now the fairly short run down into Parabolica for it to set up the very long pit straight. And that lap will go on the provisional pole for Fruitful with a 118.3. So that gives about 15 hundredths back to Jer. Now riding on board with Base, coming around. It's an invalid lap. Looks like they are going to stay on a second hot lap here. So at the top, we're still looking Fruitful on provisional pole with an 18.3 share. About 15 hundredths behind. Base sitting 2 tenths behind on a second hot lap. 3 tenths for Calcis, Steinzap, Rez, Jesse, all around 6 tenths off of the leader. A little bit of a lull here. We're right on board with Base. Coming around, invalidated that lap as well, so is a boarding in coming into the pits. You're gonna get a fresh set of tires before the next run. At this point, all the cars are on soft tires. no one going to attempt. I think the times are just, drivers are too close and the time's a little too quick. Nobody's going to be able to get well into the top 10 on medium tires. And there's not a whole lot of gain to running them if you can only get into 8th, 9th, 10th spot. Yeah, Rusty, I don't know. Was Fruitful in 18.3, I think, really high. Maybe they may be able to break into the high 17s. So as we get on a little more rubber down on the track, nice and sunny, so won't be having any issues getting the tires warmed up. And we're going to see some really good laps here as we close in on the end of qualifying. Okay, so Fruitful, FLR, Iconix are all coming back on an outlap for what will be the third run for most cars. Lewis is back out on a hot lap now. Oscar starting a hot lap. Yeah, Oscar and Callie Robb both on hot laps now. Callie Robb, the points leader, currently back in 16th with a 121.2. There, see, Oscar invalidates. I can only assume that Callie Robb had an incident or invalidated his first run as well. Yeah, now hot lap takes him to 5th place with a 118.9. That's more where we expect Robb to be. The Oscar invalidated, FLR has invalidated. Iconix starting a hot lap. Out of the Lesmos onto the short straight, headed down the really fast chicane. Ascari claiming 3 or 4 cars in the Tier 1 race that finished right before this, mine included. Can be so hard, especially once the tires get worn down, can be so hard to keep the car under control if you get on the curbs too much coming out of the exit. Touching one curb can unsettle the car, and then the next curb just finishes the job. Looks like John Mater may have been disconnected, has left the session. So while we're watching Iconix, Jer has put in a 118.327 to go on the provisional pole. Fruitful holding on with a 118.3, still in the pits. Going right down to the line, see if their drivers are going to make one more run or if they're going to call it a day with those times. Riding on board now with T. Mike. Looks like Lewis may have had an incident. Retired from the session, don't see the car. In fact, the car may be on the left. Yeah, and it's been removed now, so not sure what happened there. Jer and Fruitful both going to make another run. They're on their out lap now. They'll be setting up to cross the line as close as they can to get the track at the best condition they can. Nice and warm, a lot of rubber down. If they can, we'll be looking for a tow from someone. It is looking like this lap for Jer and Fruitful will be the battle for pole. Base sitting about 3/10 back. Know they have the pace. If they can put a lap together, we'll definitely be right up there with Jer and Fruitful. Okay, so the session is over. This will be the final laps. Iconex is in P11 with a 1:19.1. Boaz with a 1:19.4 will be in 14th. Joe Animator is at a 1:19.8. Will be back in P16. We are currently riding on board with Jer, provisional pole sitter. Fruitful will be coming across the line not too far back. Great run through Ascari. And Jer improves to a 1:18.296. Fruitful has invalidated, so they will stay P2 with a 1:18.3. Base coming around. Goes to pole with a 1:18.182. It's a great lap. Calcis has aborted. Rez is off pace, has aborted the lap. Jesse has aborted the lap, so this is going to be our running order. Base with a 1:18.1 will be the pole sitter, Jer alongside with a 1:18.2. Fruitful with a 1:18.3, and P3 with Steinzap rounding out the second row. Third row is going to be Calcis with a 1:18.7 with Rez alongside with a 1:18.9. Callie Robb and Maddie will round out row 4 with a 1:18.9 and into the 1:19 flats. Followed by Oscar and Jesse, then Mike and Iconex, Steinmine, FLR, Boaz, Bronco, and Joe Animator, and then Lewis will round out the field. Really close on pace here. 1 second between first and 11th. About a second and a half between the majority field. Really close on pace. Going to be really exciting. Looking forward to the race. So, as we're looking, less than a second down to 12th place, and 1.7 seconds separating the entire field that were able to set a lap, and Joe Animator did not get to put in a final hot lap due to a connection issue. So I think we're looking at the entire field is within a second and a half of each other, so this is going to be a really exciting, really close race. So now we will transition over to the race here, and drivers will have a couple of minutes to set their strategies. And so this will be a good time to take a break. I'll be back with you as soon as the formation lap starts. Hey, welcome back. Drivers now pulling away on the formation lap. The weather forecast, as we know right now, is going to be a dry race. Looks like there may be a little overcast. Looks like Lewis and Joanna Mater may have gotten together at the back of the field, which resulted in a disqualification on the formation lap. Will not affect their ability to race, but they will have to start on the grid with cold tires. So seeing the AWS predicted pit stop strategy there, showing a one-stopper, soft to medium or soft to hard. I tend to agree with that. If we stay green, that is the one stop, I think, is the strategy. The second stint tire really coming down to the driver's personal preference and ability to manage tires. The drivers that are able to hold on and maintain their tires can easily do a soft to medium run and have a nice advantage, especially at the beginning of that second stint. But the hards are not a terrible race tire here at Monza. So going through our starting order again here, we do have Base sitting on pole with Jer alongside in the Haas. Fruitful in P3 with Steinzap alongside in P4. Calcis in the Ferrari, followed by Rez in the Ferrari-powered Alfa Romeo. And his teammate, Cali Robb, in the second Alfa. The Alfas are leading the Constructors' Championship at the moment. Cali Robb is the points leader in the driver's standings. Currently has a 14-point lead over Jer in P2. Maddie and Oscar will be in 8th and 9th. Jesse and Mike, 10th and 11th. Iconex, then Steinman and the Red Bulls. Here's get ready for the start. Lights are out and we are off and headed for turn 1, which can be, looks like Jer gets a great start. Easily out front down into turn 1, leaving Fruitful and Base to battle it out for P2, but Fruitful around the outside runs a little bit wide. And turn 2 there, out into the gravel. Jer keeps the lead. Steinzap in 3, and it looks like Jesse may have gone around in the McLaren. It's now back, and we have a VSC. Usually this stage of the race would mean that someone got turned sideways down in turn 1. VSC, I don't think we'll see anything. This should be short-lived. No retirements. Everybody's still going. And too early to have any impact on pit strategy. So at the front, we have Jer leading. Great start off the line. Base in second, Steinzap in third. Fruitful has dropped to fourth. Then Calcis, Rez, Cali Robb, Maddie, Oscar, and FLR running at the top 10. VSC is gone. We are back to green. And we have a yellow in sector 3. Jesse has retired. It's like at the entrance to Parabolica. So just have to ignore the timing and scoring for a lap or so here. It takes between lap 1 and 2 for whatever reason. whatever reason, between lap 1 and 2, and Maddie has retired. It's like off to the right there, lost it coming out of the Lesmos. And we have our second VSC within a lap and a half. We'll go to the front. I don't expect any of the leaders will pit. Still very early. It'd be a long run on hards and would be at a really big disadvantage. Any cars carrying damage may opt to get the wing fixed here, but tire strategy wise, I think everybody will stay out, and it looks like that is the case. Yeah, Lewis not carrying any wing damage there, has both the end plates, so not an issue here as we wait for the VSC to end, and it is done, and we are back to green again. So far, 2 early VSCs. If you're joining us late, Jesse and Maddie have retired. The field's still fairly bunched up. If you were not with us for qualifying, the entire field qualified within a second and a half of each other. So very close on pace. And the VSCs have kept him bunched up. Calcis has picked up the first penalty of the race, along with Steinman, for track limits, 3 seconds each. And we have another yellow in Sector 3. It looks like we have a McLaren around Joanna Mater coming out of Ascari. Able to keep going. We'll look, see on the other side. No wing damage. Should be good to go. And early enough, should be able to recover. Here's we are now on lap 4. Cher still leading at the front. Has pulled out about a second over base here, trying to get away, get a gap so he doesn't have to worry about being pressured from behind under DRS, and can settle in for the first part of the race. Fruitful about 2 seconds back from that group, with Steinzap putting a lot of pressure on. A little wide there for Fruitful out of 4. But able to maintain the gap, pressing really hard there. Actually managed to pull out 2 or 3 tenths through that section there with the Lesmo, so maybe running slightly higher wings than Steinzap. We'll see. Yeah, you can see Stein closing the gap back down by those 2 tenths down the short straight, so I'm guessing Fruitful running slightly higher wings here. You don't really see anybody run a high downforce setup. Looking back here, Callie Robb trying to make the move on Calcis. Jer from the lead, putting up the fastest lap of the race with a 1:22.1. Looks like Callie Robb with DRS using his teammate for to get a tow there. Rez not going to put up any kind of fight to the teammate. Both of them go past Calcis, and that's for P5 and P6. And that will turn Callie Robb loose. He's now got a 2-second gap to the cars ahead. Back at the front, looks like Fruitful's almost pulled out of range now. Stein out of DRS range. The front 3, all about a second and a half apart, with that's Jer, Base, and Fruitful. About a second and a half apart from each other, and then Steinzat holding the 1 second, holding within DRS range of Fruitful. Looking back through the field, Rez within half second of Callie Robb. And then Bronco making the move on T Mike down into Parabolica. See if Mike tries to switch back here. Both he and Bronco will have DRS though, with Iconix being right behind Iconix there. A little bit of contact between Bronco and Iconix. Mike pushing in, trying to take advantage as those two slowed down just a little bit. Swapping positions back and forth here. Oscar's picked up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Not a good camera angle for the battle. Let's see, there we go. Oh, and Iconix, a little loose out of there, has to drop out, and that lets Bronco and Mike through. Among this battle, though, they have lost almost 2.5 seconds to 9th place, battling among each other here. I think they will want to settle in here and try to close that gap back down. Mike going around Bronco now. Keep an eye on the front. It looks like Fruitful is slowly closing down the gap to base. Almost within DRS range now. We're going to stay on board here with this battle. Oscar, Bronco, Mike, and Iconix all right together, fighting for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. I think all 4 cars really equal on pace. So the car in the front of the pack is just kind of a sitting duck down that long straight. And the rest all stacking up on top of each other, trying to settle in. Looks like they may have. We're going to go back to the front here for a minute, as Base has gotten within DRS range of Fruitful now. And Rusty, I'm not sure. Stein has dropped back to P16. Been watching that. We've been on board with that intense battle there, back for 9th place. Back to the MC. We'll see if Stein has picked up any damage. About 12 seconds back. No damage to the car, so looks like maybe a spin. We will catch up with Stein after the race to see if we can determine what happened there. So currently Scherer leading by 2.2 seconds over Fruitful. Base has closed within half a second now of 2nd place. The front 3 now getting a fairly comfortable gap of about 5.5 seconds back to 4th place. And then we have 3 separate small packs that are DRS trains at this point. Cali Rob with Rez, Steinzap, Calcis, all within DRS range of each other. About a 2-second gap back to the next pack of Oscar and FLR. Who appeared to have been involved in an issue there that dropped them out of that front pack. And then looking back to this pack with Iconix, Mike, Bronco, Boaz, and Joe Animator, who has now caught this pack as well. They have dropped about 6 to 7, almost 7 seconds behind the leader of that pack there. Currently Iconix, they've lost about 4 seconds over 2 or 3 laps. That battle going on. And Lewis is in the pits in the Renault from 15th and has opted to retire from the race. That'll be our 3rd retirement. Back at the front, it looks like base, and we have that yellow on sector 1. That's the retired car of Lewis. Should not cause any issues. It was safely done in the pit lane. As per regulations, it appears the car is coming back out on the track, but we will keep an eye on that. Here as we settle in now, lap 9. All the front runners that are on the soft tires now 8 and 9 laps each, and pit stops are starting. See, Fruitful has cut into Jair's lead at the front. Base going to be the first car. And we have a lot of cars now. Base, Rez, Steinzap, all opting for pit road. There comes Joe Animator. Looks like everyone is going to go to the medium tires there. Nope. Mike going on to the hards. So Mike on the hard tires, everybody else opting for the mediums. Curious to see how that works out for Mike. It may give him to have a slight advantage towards the end of the race. See Joe there running way out on the curb. Good job keeping everything together there. Trying to close in on Bronco. I think we're seeing now those soft tires are starting to go. The medium runners, Joe and Boaz, closing up easily now. A lot more traction coming out of the turns. And Joe is going to make that move around the outside. I think in Tier 1 we saw, I believe it was Impossible Bacon make it 12 or 13 laps on the softs. But it gets really, really slippery once you start getting into lap 9, 10, and 11. Those soft tires are going to have a big advantage. I'd see Fruitful, unfortunately, coming out into traffic behind the medium car. He does clear Joe Animator fairly quickly, and now has the soft tire runner of Iconex to deal with, and is by there as well. So it doesn't look like lost too much time there coming out in traffic. The Base may turn out to be the loser in that situation. It has the same two cars there, Iconex and Joe Animator. I would expect Iconex to be stopping this lap, so that would clear. Yeah, he is going to have to clear Joe Animator pretty quick, though. As the medium tire runners will probably be going another 3 to 5 laps. Jer now in the pits for medium tires. He is going to come out and maintain the lead. I think Fruitful getting caught behind the two cars eliminated any chance for an undercut. But really close. See how much those soft tires had dropped off, that even getting stuck in a little bit of traffic, Fruitful wasn't able to capitalize on the earlier stop. Looking back through the field, see what our closest battle is here. Looks like FLR, 3/10, Iconex and Mike trading places again. Back in 14th and 15th. So now Oscar picking up a 3-second time penalty. At this point, most cars have made their stops now. The medium runners, the original medium runners, Joe Animator, Boaz, Steinmine still out on the medium tires. If they are going to run medium to hard, I would expect them to be stopping about now. If they're going to run medium to soft, I think we'll see them stay out probably another 3 to 5 laps. Want to push the first in as far as they can so that they have the soft tires to be still have good life in the soft tires at the end of the race. Here, FLR should have the move done and does into turn 1 into P8. So let's go back to the front. Fruitful has gotten by Cher. And Pace caught the back of this pack as well. Mike's picked up a 3-second penalty. Let's look over and see now. So current penalty situation, Joe Animator with 3 seconds, Calcis with 3, Oscar has 6, Steinzat with 3, Iconex with 3, and Mike with 6. Go a couple of close. It looks like a lot of the midfield has started to spread out a little bit here as we watch the leaders. Fruitful leading by about a half second, and then about a half second back again to third with Ace. Second, third, both will have DRS down the straights now. Then 2 seconds back to Jer, to Joe Animator. Be about 4 seconds back to Boaz, 4 more seconds to Cali Rob. Field getting spread out a little bit now. That pit stops have started, but Cali Rob will currently be net P4, so that means the leaders have about a 10-second gap back to what will be 4th place once Joe Animator and Boaz make their stops. So you can see Pace sitting in third. Good job on DRS management. Just kind of riding along, biding time. Just sitting back there, take the tow, use DRS. Not have to do a whole lot of work right now. 14 laps to go. Can't win the race right now. Oscar's picked up another 3 seconds for time penalties. And we have a yellow flag in Sector 2. I believe that is Iconex. Around the exit of this Lesmo there. And Cher pressing back against Fruitful. See the battle 2 back, 8th, 9th, FLR and Rez. Steinzap, Oscar all there within DRS range. We're going to stay on board with the leaders for the moment though. That long super Cali Rob, 3-second time penalty coming through Ascari. And base drops off a little bit there. They've gotten a little bit loose coming out of Parabolica. Did manage to keep DRS, though. I believe that little mistake there down the straight may cost him on the next lap. See if he can maintain with Jaron Fruitful battling, if he can keep it within a second by the time they come back around. Cali Rob Ketch has caught and passed Boaz for P5. Now looking at 15 laps on those mediums, about the point where the medium tires really start dropping off. Won't be too long before we see Joe Animator, Boaz, and Steinmine in the pits. This base from third place picking up a 3-second time penalty. That could really play into the end of this race. Because currently that will take some of the pressure off of Fruitful and Gere, as neither of them have penalties currently. And Gere to the inside, using DRS, has the pass done into turn 1. Looks like Fruitful is not going to try to press the issue there, just lets it go. And Boaz has picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Such a hard pit entry to get into, especially when you're on really old tires. So now we see if Fruitful can, and backs off a little going into Ascari. No need to go side by side. Try to set up to move down the next straight and then have DRS for the main straight. Is going to peek to the inside, going into Parabolica. Like Base, after that little wiggle, was able to pull back up with the two cars battling, has stayed within DRS range, as Fruitful goes to the inside now. And is a little bit of a lockup, but a repeat of the last lap, just the cars swapping positions again. I'll stay on board with this battle. It is the closest battle on track at the moment. The leaders now have pulled a 14-second gap back to 4th place. Cali Robb sitting in 4th has a good cushion now back. He is about 4 seconds behind him to Calcis in the Ferrari. We'll keep an eye on this battle. Looking at the point situation for the tier, there's been as close as it is with all the pace being as tight as it is, haven't really had a chance to talk about anything else other than what's going on track, and still not able to keep up with all the battles as we've got 3 really groups of cars all fighting together. Boaz picked up a 3-second time penalty there for track limits. So Alfa Romeo currently leading the points. Racing Point in P2, 28 points back. Williams in 3rd, Red Bull in 4th, Renault in 5th, Haas in P6 with Ferrari in 7th, AlphaTauri in 8th, Mercedes in 9th, and McLaren currently in 10th. Looking at the driver's standings, Cali Robb in P1, 2 podiums and a win, is a 14-point lead over Gere and the Haas in P2. Gere with 8 podiums, 5 wins, consistently been at the front of the field the entire season. Base sitting in P3 in the points, P3 in the race. Only 4 points behind Gere, 4 podiums, hasn't picked up a win yet, still looking for that first win. But really consistent, good points finisher. And then looking back through the points, Adri, currently in P4, has not been with us for a couple of weeks now due to an injury, has been unable to race. Looking forward for the return there. Hopefully in the next few weeks, couple of weeks or so. Got to get back in the car and keep up the title fight. As Fruitful now coming back by as the two continue back and forth with DRS, just towing each other and swapping spots each lap. We'll drop back in the field a little bit while that goes on, as they will probably continue that, just tow and swap each lap until the last couple of laps when they'll get down to business. and we'll see the elbows come out. Steins out working back past FLR and Rez into P6. Oscar not too far behind in P9. Joe Animator currently in 10th with the medium to soft run. Within DRS range now of Oscar. See how far he can climb back with that medium to soft strategy. Then back to Bronco and Boaz. Oscar with 3 seconds. There, we'll take a look at the current penalty situation here as we are closing in on the end of the race. Currently 8 laps to go. So Fruitful has 3 seconds penalties at the front. Gier currently with none. Base with 3 seconds. Cali Rob with 3. Calcis with 3. Steinzat with 6. Rez and FLR both with a clean sheet so far. Oscar with 12 seconds. Joe Animator with 6. Bronco with nothing. And Boaz has 8 seconds. Mike with 6. Steinmine with 3. And Iconex with 9. Three retirements so far. Jesse, Maddie, and Lewis. And we have a yellow flag in Sector 3. Looks like it may have been Steinmine. And Iconex looks like has lost it coming out of Ascari. So, and we have a full course safety car. So this will change the setup at the front. It's going to bring Cali Rob back into the race. I think we'll definitely see a lot of the cars here come in now for softs. As you can easily run the last 3 or 4 laps of the race on soft tires, they will be able to go all out. Yep, Fruitful, Gier, Base, all opting to come in. They will all go into soft tires. This will set up a really exciting finish, as there will be no concerns about tire conservation, no slipping around. They will be able to go all out. Cali Rob also coming in. That's going to pull him back up onto the leaders. Calcis coming in, Steinzat, Rez, FLR. Looks like everyone is going to opt to come in for the soft tires here. Joe Animator opting for a second set of softs. I was waiting to see if either Joe or Boaz opted to stay out, only having 3-4 laps on their soft tires, but they are both opting. Oscar taking the mediums. Must not have had a set of softs with low enough wear available to be comfortable with. Goes on to a set of new mediums. While we're under safety car here, we will catch up on everything. As with all the movement in the pack today, I'm sure I've missed some. If I missed something on the stream, I apologize to the drivers for it. There's just been a lot of activity in this race, especially at the front. It's been very tight. So, rundown of our penalty situation. Fruitful currently in the lead with 3 seconds. Gier with nothing. Base with 3 seconds. Cali Rob with 3. Calcis with 3. Steinzap has 6. FLR in P7 with none. This can work out really well for FLR, as being able to close back up on the pack now with no penalties. Doesn't have to press as hard and can pick up 2, 3, 4 spots at the end of the race just on not having penalties. Rez with 3 seconds. Joe Animator in P9 with 6. Oscar in P10 with 12 seconds and penalties. Bronco with nothing. Also, like FLR, in a really good spot to make up a lot of ground on penalties at the end of the race. Just has to keep it clean and stay tucked in. Mike with 6 seconds. Steinman with 3. Boaz with 3. With a late safety car, Oscar opted to go into the mediums. Everyone else went onto a fresh or a very slightly used set of medium or soft tires out of qualifying. Now everyone should have had at least one set of softs left that had minimal wear on them from a qualifying run, if not a new set. Yeah, it looks like Steinman has had to go into slightly used tires there. Everyone on the 2 stops. So Fruitful making up 2 spots at the start. The current leader, though, as close as they've been running, the penalty may come back to haunt them at the end of the race, as Jer is sitting behind with none. Base dropped 2 spots into P3. Cali Rob up 3 from the beginning. FLR up 7. Joe Animator on the alternate strategy up 8. Currently we have 4 retirements. Jesse and Maddie both retiring in the first 2 laps of the race. Jesse going into Parabolica. Maddie, I believe, was coming out of the Lesmos and collected the wall. Lewis was an intentional retirement in the pit lanes, and Iconex lost it out of Ascari, bringing out this safety car. And looked like one of the Renaults, maybe it was Lewis's car, popped up there and then retired. Cali Rob picking up a 3-second time penalty for track limits under as we get going again. Let's go back to the front. So we're going to have 4 laps to go. Everybody on really fresh soft tires. Going to set up a really exciting finish. I think I'll leave up the penalty time. That'll be more useful as everyone is on fresh tires. That's no longer an issue. And the penalty time is going to have a big impact on the finishing order at the end of this race. So I know Jer has having the clean penalty sheet. I'm wondering if he just sits back and takes the win on penalties or if he wants to get the job done on track. We will find that out here shortly. Fruitful going to have to press really, really hard. Wait, if Base can catch up to Jer, or if Jer were to make a mistake, see if he can get a 3-second gap to try to take the win. FLR up into P6 now without penalties. Could be looking at a podium spot if he can hold on to the back of those cars. Looking at 3 to go now. Mike picking up another 3 seconds in penalties. Really close here in the middle. FLR is going to be pressing really, really hard. Try to close that gap down. The 2 Alfa Romeos going back and forth as getting by Cali Rob there. Joe Animators picked up 3 seconds in penalties back in P10. Fruitful with the fastest lap of the race there, a 120.4. So really pushing, wanting to try and get a gap. up to 1.1 second now. Now Jair may want to push just a little bit, get back in DRS range. As if Jair can stay in DRS range, will not have to really push, can just let Fruitful tow him along for the win there. Back low, keep an eye on the leaders. Here's coming out with 2 laps to go. Yellow flag in sector 2. Looks like the McLaren goes around. Joe Animator has DNF'd in the middle of the Lesmos. So far, no VSC. Would not expect a safety car this late. Fruitful has managed to pull out a 1.2 second gap now. Has gotten Jair out of DRS range. So Fruitful doing all that they can here as we start the last lap. Fruitful doing all he can to try and pull a gap out to Jair to take this win. It's a 2.5 seconds currently. Jair will just have to hold on and can take the win on penalties with no mistakes. Looking back to FLR, Calcis and Steinzap both now with 6 seconds in penalties. So FLR looking to take P4 and really, really close to a possible podium spot. And we have another yellow in sector 2. Looks like one of the Alphas. That's Cali Rob is DNF'd coming out of the Lesmos. As Fruitful coming around, Parabolica has got the gap up to 2.1 seconds to Jair, but it is not going to be enough. As Fruitful will take the win on the track, but Jair is going to get the victory on the scoring sheet on penalties. Base holds on to P3, FLR taking P4, Rez in 5th, Steinzap will be P6. FLR picking up driver of the day orders. A very exciting race, super close field with a late safety car to group everyone together here. We'll watch Jair with the celebration with Fruitful and Base alongside there on the podium. It was a great finish there. And we'll do a run through here of the order. Jair is going to take the victory. Fruitful and Base 2nd and 3rd on the podium. FLR in P4. Rez taking P5 in the Alpha. Steinzap and Bronco are 6th and 7th. Calcis in P8. Steinmine comes in at P9. Boaz in 10th. Mike in P11. Oscar in 12th. Cali Rob in 13th and Show Animator in 14th. Late retirements, but are scored. And then Iconex, Lewis, Maddie, and Jesse rounding out 15th through 18th. Did not finish the race. So this has been the premier tier of the Performance Racing League here from Italy. And we hope to see you again next week.